Hey! You're in my kitchen this week for Taro Every Which Way Food, my ongoing series about different recipes that you can make to help you better understand and access the meanings that are present in the taro. So we're going to be doing strength this week. I'm up to number 8. I feel like I've been doing this for weeks and weeks and weeks, but apparently we're only up to number 8. And 8's one of those cards, it's interesting. You know, I was going over it in my mind, and for me, I almost always read strength as 8. Some people read justice as 8. There are some people that sort of counterpose, switch those two back and forth. I think there are some things that are very similar about the cards, but for me, I think that 8 really does come forth as the strength card. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to show you this, which is the strength card from the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot deck by Louis Martinet and Sally Ann Glassman. And this card is called Possession, and we're going to talk a little bit about this as I'm cooking the recipe that we're doing today for the strength card. And the recipe that we're going to do today, as I said, is Fortitude Fried Chicken. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn on my oil, because you want the oil to get hot when you're making fried chicken. If you put it in too soon, then it'll soak up all the grease and it'll get really nasty. So we're going to be making fried chicken, vampire cough, excuse me. So we're going to be making fried chicken, and we're going to be talking about the strength card, as I mentioned, number 8. And I think one interesting thing to point out is if you lie an 8 on its side, it makes the infinity symbol. So there's a way in which strength really shows us that we can access our infinite strength, that there's a universal strength that we can draw on, and also an internal strength that connects to the universal strength. How many times can I say strength in 10 minutes? But you get what I'm saying here, that there's a cosmic strength, there are cosmic forces. You know, most images of the card have a picture of a lion, you know, the king of the beasts. I tried to get my hair all lion-y today, but it's a little bit flat, but it does get much more lion-y. But we're gonna make Fortitude Fried Chicken. I gotta make sure this oil isn't up too hot. I'm sure there are people out there that are seeing how long it's going to take me to actually set myself on fire during one of these cooking things. This could be the week. Don't worry about it. All right, so we're going to get our oil together. I like cooking with grapeseed oil. I know that's a little bit of an unusual choice for people, but I really like grapeseed oil because grapeseed oil for me is one of the healthiest oils you can use out there. It's a little bit more expensive. It's a little bit harder to find, but I feel like grapeseed oil really is your best choice. So then you're going to take about a half a cup of flour, and to that you're going to add your spices, and a lot of these spices are associated with the strength card. One of them that we're going to use is parsley. That's associated with the strength card, and you're going to put that about, I would say probably about a teaspoonful of dried parsley, or if you want to use fresh parsley, I have fresh parsley here. You can snip that into the mix as well. I like to use the scissors for doing that. Let's see, where did I put my scissors? I put my scissors over here. So you're going to cut that into the flour mixture. You're going to mix it all up in a minute, but you get the idea pretty much. So you're going to add that. We're going to add basil. I have fresh basil. This is my basil plant over here, if you can see. Here, I'll hold it up for you. So you can see this is my basil plant that's been growing in my spare bedroom. And we're going to use some fresh basil. And again, take the scissors and just cut that up into very small pieces. I have a friend that likes to do a chiffonade, which is where you roll up the leaves together. I'm going to get all foodie on you. You roll up the leaves together really, really tight, like you're rolling something to smoke. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And then you cut it, and it comes up in thin strips. So that's an option if you want to get all fancy schmancy with your stuff. But basil's something that I think, you know, I've mentioned before in this tarot series that basil is something that people use pretty much all over the world for different reasons. It's good for protection. It's good for exorcism. You can see how people would associate it with the strength card. We're also going to put in some paprika, which is good for strength. It's a warrior herb. I have a recipe on the blog Voodoo Universe that is for warrior seasoning blend, which I think a lot of you would appreciate. You can go back and find that. I'm going to use garlic powder, which is also good for protection and exorcism and strength and all of those things. And I'm going to use some onion powder. There's almost nothing at this point that I don't cook with onion powder. Onions are one of my favorite things. Again, they're detoxifying if you think of it on a health-wise, but if you think of it magically, they're also, again, really good for protection, just like garlic, just like any of the other alliums, members of the lily family. So, okay, my oil's getting hot. Then I'm going to take some of my chicken. First, I'm going to put my gloves on. One of my favorite movies, I was thinking, one of my favorite movies is With Nell and I, and there's a great line where he goes, "Don't attempt anything without the gloves." But I always wear gloves when I'm doing chicken because I don't want any kind of juices or anything like that getting on anything else. And I like chicken breast. You could do this with whatever kind of chicken you want to use, whatever chicken pieces. You could use legs, you could use thighs. I'm really fond of breast, so that's what I'm going to be using. We're going to put it first in a milk bath. So as you can see here, we're going to put it in a milk bath. We're going to cover it on both sides with the milk. Then we're going to mix up our flour mixture with all the herbs and stuff, and we're going to dredge it in there. So you're going to put it down in there. You're going to make sure it gets all coated with the flour mixture, if you can see. Basically, you want to get everything stuck onto there. And then I think I can feel my heat. It's pretty hot coming on over here. So you can test it with a cube of bread. That's a really good idea, to just drop a cube of bread in there, and if it browns up really quickly, then you'll know that your fat is good and ready for putting in your chicken. Now the cooking time is going to depend on how big a pieces your chicken is. So with little strips like this, it's not going to take very long at all to cook, and you're supposed to get a nice sizzly sound like that when you drop it in. Do a couple more while I'm standing here. You know, I was thinking a lot about strength again as I was getting ready to deal with this card for this evening. And strength is a lot of things to a lot of different people. You know, there's strengths that are traditionally thought of as masculine, and I think that's one of the elements that you do get in the card with the lion, with this kind of strength. But there's also a really strong feminine power that you can see in the card. You know, it's a woman who's, in traditional decks, you know, the Rider-Waite deck, it's a woman who's taming the lion. So it's this kind of like great feminine power that can sort of tame the beasts on a primal level, and I think that's something that's really important to those of us who do worship and honor the goddess, that we think about these things when we're thinking about the strength card and the inherent power of women and things like that. You know, I'm thinking about it again, especially because it's World Goddess Day, and there's a lot of goddesses out there. When we talk about strength, one of the goddesses that comes to mind specifically, you know, some people associate this card with Venus because of its attachment to justice. Some people associate the card with Mot. Some people also associate this card with masculine gods like Thor, which I think you can understand the correspondence there, because you've got this kind of literal, you know, thunderstruck kind of energy. You could also associate it, there's ways in which it's partnered with the sun card, so a lot of times people associate it with some of the sun deities like Ra and things like that. So that's another really good way. Oh wait, I think I have a question. Oh no, somebody's just saying hello. Hello! Here's my chickens going. Look, I haven't set myself on fire yet. But the night is young, and our minds are dark and full of pain. So who knows? But yes, I do like making fried chicken. I will put the recipe up there. The recipe's already on the blog, which I realized today. I was going back over posts, and we did this Fortitude Fried Chicken just as a regular post, not as an exciting Dancing Lilith video like we're doing it tonight, but we did do it back in 2014, I believe. It's almost my blog anniversary. I've been doing this for 4 years. There's almost 500 posts up there, so go me. I didn't think I could write about 500 different things. For those of you who are here and interested in tarot, there's a lot of tarot posts up there. For those of you who are interested in magical cooking, there's a lot of recipes up there. I just gave away my cookbook for free, but if you didn't get a chance to grab that, you can still grab it on Amazon, the African American Ritual Cookbook. In the video for that, my godson makes a joke about we don't eat fried chicken. I think fried chicken's one of those things, it's funny, we're talking about strength. Fried chicken is one of those things that, you know, for black people, they have a real kind of struggling relationship with it. You know, a lot of people don't like to be enforcing the stereotype of eating fried chicken and eating other foods that were traditionally thought of as soul foods. But, you know, to me, I really think there's an element of reclaiming that we can take back in this. You know, obviously we can't eat fried food all the time, but I think that if, you know, the reason that slaves ate fried chicken was because it was a good portable food. It was a food that gave them strength. It was a food that they could pack on the Underground Railroad. So when they were trying to escape from I'm going to work in evil oppressors every week. But while they were trying to escape from their evil oppressors, they could carry some fried chicken with them, and that would last them on their journey, you know, over hundreds and hundreds of miles until they could get to a free state. So I think that's something that we need to think of. It's not just we chose fried chicken because it tastes good or because, you know, we want to have high cholesterol. We chose fried chicken because it was something that was traditionally soul food that was easily portable and easily carried. That's why it's a food that gets celebrated at barbecues today and, you know, holidays like Juneteenth and things like that. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, eat fried chicken in public if you want to. Hide and eat fried chicken if you want to. Make a healthy fried chicken. You could bake this chicken. You could very easily do that. I would put it in a 350 oven and grease the pan that you're putting it in and turn it over about halfway through. Again, it's going to take as long as it takes depending on the size of your chicken. If you have something that's thin strips like this, even these pieces, I'm going to pick one up for you, even these pieces are pretty thin top to bottom, in addition to the fact that it's not a full giant breast. You can see that it's pretty thin. Put it in front of the Tower of London. You can see that they're not going to take that long to cook. And you certainly don't want to overcook it, but, you know, I'm paranoid about undercooking it as well. So you have to make sure that when you poke it, it comes out clear. That's the test. I'm going to poke it. My priestess always told me don't poke things or stir things with a knife because then you get extra angry things in your meat, which I think that's, you know, who wants angry meat? So ever since she said that to me, I've tried really hard not to stick a knife into a pan when I'm cooking. So grab a fork if you can. This one's clear. This one's clear. Way, hooray! All right, so there are a lot of other things you can do, obviously, for this strength card. There's a lot of herbs you can use in addition to things like basil and parsley that I mentioned. Some people equate fennel. You know, you could do a nice roasted fennel dish or something where you use fennel in the spices as part of your understanding of the strength card. You know, I've mentioned before in this series that I developed these recipes, you know, for somebody who had a special needs child, and they were really trying to get the child to understand the meaning in the cards and what the cards were telling them to do in relation to their child, which was a very difficult situation. So there's a lot of recipes that you can use. It doesn't matter if you're 2, it doesn't matter if you're special needs, it doesn't matter if you're, you know, in your 90s and you're not particularly lucid. You can still get the energy of the cards. And I was also thinking about this today. I don't think that one of the things that makes me different than other people is I try not to tell people how to do things. I've spent a long time in school and a lot of time learning things. I've read cards for, oh, let's see now, over 40 years probably since I picked up my first deck of cards. So, but I'm not going to tell you how to do it because everything's going to be different. Everything's going to be your own personal experience. So I think by doing these recipes, it allows people to get a deeper, literally, connection with the cards by ingesting them, by ingesting the herbs and the different foods that represent what the cards mean. So, okay, when your chicken's all done, I don't want to overcook it either. Like I said, nobody likes dry chicken. When your chicken's all done, you're going to want to dry it on paper towels, or, you know, my nanny used to dry it on a brown paper bag. If you have a clean brown paper bag, that's, you know, if you've gone to the supermarket and you still, it's a still brown paper supermarket because it's a good one, you can get some there and save yourself a clean brown bag. But, this looks delicious. I wish there was a bunch of people coming over to share this with me. But, so, wait, can you see? I'm going to turn this fat off and show it to you. I am going to Caribbean Carnival tomorrow. Those of you who are here in Brooklyn know that we have our carnival in the fall over Labor Day weekend. So we have Carnival Monday tomorrow. You can check out my wonderful posts about Juve and the masquerade that's going to go on tomorrow morning. Hopefully I'm going to make it there. Hopefully everything's going to go really well. Hopefully I'm going to be dressed up. My niece was trying to convince me to dress like a Taylor Swift zombie, which is kind of in a little way how the Juve witch dresses, you know, in rags and looking all creepy. So I'm going to get up tomorrow morning pre-dawn and go check out Juve and the Caribbean Carnival here in Brooklyn. Say hello to me if you see me and you can recognize me. There's a couple of other great things going on this week that I want to tell people about. The first thing is that it's Oshun's feast day this week. Blessings to Oshun, blessings to all the other Oshun daughters out there. And as part of that, I want to tell people I did a special lecture for the Sacred Waters Telesummit, and I'll put that link below, but people can register to hear me talk about Oshun as part of the Telesummit, which starts on the 7th of this week. Oshun's feast day is the 8th. What else is going on this week? Yemaya's feast day is this week as well. So for those of you who are Dos Aguas out there or daughters of Yemaya, my blessings to you, and have a good week. And thanks for watching. I'm so happy that everybody really likes this series. You know, sometimes it's hard to want to make a full meal or a full recipe on camera and to make sure I look relatively decent and not like a Taylor Swift zombie. So I appreciate everybody who comes out. Please remember to like and share this video. If you can't see or hear it on whatever you're looking at, my Facebook page or wherever, it will be on my YouTube channel. And oh, sirens are going, so it must be time for me to go. Thanks everybody for watching. Bye.